So I would like to debunk some myths about packaging a little bit. My name is Melissa Saunders, and I own and operate Communal Brands. We produce, import, and distribute wine in the most environmentally responsible packaging possible. As an industry, we've actually trained consumers to believe that high-quality wine has to come in heavy glass bottles. And it's just absolutely not true. And it's come at a big expense to the environment because the packaging is where we have the greatest environmental impact. I believe that it's our job now to retrain consumers that actually the packaging type is not any indicia of the quality wine that's inside.
There'll be other places you can go on our website, on our social, that educate more in detail about the recyclability, what it all means, why this is the lowest carbon footprint and the least, because we do say it's the least amount of waste.
I'm producing high quality wine with top quality producers, and we're intentionally putting wine in bag-in-box because it's the packaging type with the lowest carbon footprint. So what makes a high quality wine is, first off, where the wine comes from, which is the quality of the grapes, which, backing up, relates to the quality of the vineyard where the grapes come from. And then we are choosing to package in bag-in-box because of the positive environmental impact, and we don't need a heavy glass bottle to show that we're high quality. I do think that as an industry we have a responsibility to continue to educate. We're responsible for promoting this idea that it has to be in glass to be good. And I think that if we're able to feel more comfortable being more outspoken about the fact that it's almost like what's in the bottle or what's in the packaging is what matters the most, more so than using packaging as a vehicle to, communicate maybe something that isn't aligned with what's inside.
So we just came out of the production facility and it was an amazing experience.
The majority of wine in the US is packaged in single-use glass. It's also about 90% of packaged wine in the US that gets consumed the same night that it's actually purchased. So one of the myths that I have to debunk all the time is the fact that wine in alternatives to glass like bag-in-box don't have the potential to age long-term. And honestly, it's totally BS because the majority of wine that's purchased in this country is consumed the exact same night that they bought that bottle. And so this idea that it has to be in the bottle so that it can age long-term, it actually doesn't make any sense. We know most people are buying that bottle and bringing it home and opening it that same very night. And all of this is, glass versus alternatives, glass being, connoting higher quality than alternatives, is a perception issue that honestly we have, as an industry, have created and perpetuated. When it's going in the bottle, and it's bottled with a closure which is either screw cap or cork, it's an inert or close to inert environment. No oxygen or very little oxygen or slow ingress of oxygen is happening, right? So you don't really need to worry about that wine after it's packaged. It's kind of done. With bag-in-box, because it's a bag, which has a higher oxygen transfer rate than the bottle that's closed like that, there are other technical considerations that need to be factored in at packaging.
No hands touch the wine, so everything goes through all of the equipment and the oxygen is kept at bay, ensuring minimum risk.
Actually, more attention to detail and care and quality control goes into bag-in-box than into wine going into bottle, certainly for every day, because it's a less forgiving package. So I fill all of my bag-in-box at PG2 or with Pascal Gonachon. He only fills bag-in-box. So his habits are to take into consideration every single step required to ensure the utmost quality and the longest shelf life for wine that's going into that bag. So I am super hands-on with the production of every single one of my wines. My aim with my bag-in-box is that the quality of the wine before it goes into the bag is just as high as once it goes into the bag and is going to be consumed by the end consumer. So, you know, just like a wine that's going into the bottle, the cleanliness of the cellar, the technological cues for a quality winery, our hygiene, the type of equipment they have, how technologically advanced, is it old, is it new, you know, how is it functioning, how, you know, automated are things. And it's not that, you know, I don't want things to be handcrafted or artisanal. To me, that part should happen in the vineyard. Like, you really do want the farming to be as, I guess, simple as possible. Then once you're bringing the wine in, the aim should be to produce the wine as, you know, hygienically and naturally as you possibly can. And having the right equipment is going to help with that.
We start first with a winery where I'm confident in what they're doing in the vineyard.
Why I work with Pascal here in Burgundy to produce my bag-in-box is because he has the utmost expertise with only producing bag-in-box, and the tools that he has, the equipment that he has to do his work as a filler is unsurpassed in terms of the level of quality. Every single thing that he does is honestly as automated as possible. And why is this? Because the more automated, the less manual in the process of filling the bag-in-box, the less risk of introducing oxygen and other contaminants into the wine. And you are going to ensure that pure, beautiful juice that was produced that vintage is going to maintain its integrity once it gets into the bag.
It's nice, pretty.
Probably the most important factor in ensuring that the integrity of the wine is preserved throughout the filling process is the automation of the equipment. It's actually, people take for granted, like, oh, I could just hand fill the bags. Honestly, the more manual the process, the higher the risk of introducing oxygen and just like human error in general. At Communal, and you know, I have gone to great lengths to educate myself about best practices in this space, and I attend fillings. I am step by step advising. I'm literally involved in every single step of the process to ensure the highest level of quality. On the one hand, it might look like micromanaging, but when you're trying to produce high quality wine in a packaging that's stigmatized for being cheap and crappy, and you're told all the time by the market, like, I don't want to pay that, I don't want to pay that. It's my job to ensure that I can get behind the quality of the wine that's inside every single package that I produce. I got into this industry because I love wine. That's like baseline, and I love quality wine. And at this point, knowing what I know about the impact of the packaging, my role in driving the reduction of the environmental impact of the packaging is my passion, and it's what fuels me. Honestly, like, I've been told many a time that I'm completely crazy for doing what I'm doing, but I don't really care. I'm not stopping.